I canceled my pre-order for the Nintendo Switch 2, and I think you should do the same. I am choosing to vote with my dollars, because I think the only way we can get the gaming industry to change is if we consumers, gamers, and really fans rally together and make a statement demanding better. On April 24th, I was lucky enough to snag a pre-order for the Mario Kart bundle at Walmart. I stayed up for the midnight release, refreshed my browser between GameStop and Walmart for an hour, and eventually was called to place my order at Walmart around 1 o'clock in the morning. I went to bed giddy for the day my new Switch would arrive. I couldn't wait to play Mario Kart with my friends and family, play Split Fiction with my wife, and finally play Elden Ring because I have been exclusively a Nintendo gamer. And of course, I've been a die-hard Pokemon fan my entire life. When I saw the enhanced visuals for Legend ZA on the Switch 2, I was completely ecstatic. It looked absolutely incredible to me. I was sold on the Nintendo Switch 2. I eventually became okay with the $80 price tag on games. With all the inflation that's happened across the world throughout the 2020s, it made sense to me that things would cost more. And I was also okay with the more expensive console, because it would be up to current gen standards like the PS4, even though it's a brand new console, and the actual current gen console is a PS5. And then I learned about the game key cards and the new end user license agreement. Apparently, we are not paying for the actual games, but rather just the license to play them. And the actual games will no longer be stored on the physical copy of the game we buy. And to top it all off, if Nintendo deems anyone who has paid $500 for their own personal console is misbehaving with said console, Nintendo has the legal right and apparently capability to permanently disable the console. $500 just turned into a fancy paperweight. And I thought, well, that won't apply to me. I don't misbehave with the Nintendo Switch. But them saying they have the legal right implies that they have the capability to brick my device, which means they are monitoring me as I use it, which feels gross to me. Now, I had already pre-ordered my Switch 2 before the end-user license agreement came out. And when I did, I clicked through it so I could just continue on and play the game I wanted to play that day, not really knowing or caring what exactly I clicked through, therefore blindlessly agreeing to it. And I wonder how many people did the same. And then I learned more about the end-user license agreement, and I wasn't happy with it. Then I got a text message from my older brother, the original Player 1 to my Player 2. He said, "I think I'm going to stay on the Switch 1 now. Price is not the problem, it's everything else." I responded with, "Oh, talking about the end-user license agreement?" He said the user agreement, empty physical cartridges with a game key only inside, attacking fan projects and other companies, the list could go on. And then he said, Nintendo is no longer for the fans anymore, and they don't care for game preservation either. I'll be getting Legend ZA and Metroid Prime 4 for the Switch 1. If we buy these game key cards, in 10 to 20 years Nintendo shuts down the Switch Online services like they have with the Wii and the Nintendo DS, will we even be able to access the games that we've bought? Or will this just create another opportunity for Nintendo to sell us literally the exact same game over and over again? I also have been watching one of my favorite YouTubers, Shady Penguin, streams lately, and watching him play Exhibition 33. And man, does that game look amazing. The story is amazing, the music is amazing. And then I found out that this game was developed by a team of around 30 people. So a 30-person team was able to produce this masterpiece of a game, and they're selling it for only $50. And then I saw Gamma Emerald, and my god, does this game look and sound incredible. And this will probably eventually get shut down by Nintendo. And I'm sorry if my bringing more awareness of this amazing project does that. But man, I wish Game Freak and the Pokemon Company would put as much care into their games as these small development teams do. I recently booted up a new playthrough of Pokemon Violet this week, and the game crashed on me 3 times in one day. I wasn't even in Castle Royale Lake or Tag Tree Thicket. It was so laggy in the early parts of the game, and I thought maybe Nintendo made the game run worse with the most recent update to incentivize people upgrading. That's purely my speculation, I don't have any proof, but with everything else they are doing, I wouldn't put it past them. And then finally it hit me. If I was born today, or if I had 2 children of my own, I could not recreate the experience I had for them. When I was a kid in the late 90s, my older brother and I each had our own Game Boy Color and our own copy of a Pokemon game, and we would upgrade through the generations together, with Game Boy Advances to Nintendo DS's, playing Pokemon, going on an adventure side by side, together. After a quick Google search, I saw that a Game Boy Color was $50 and a Pokemon game was $30 in 1998. So my single dad paid $200 for me and my brother to become die-hard Pokemon fans. To recreate that experience, it would at minimum cost an additional $1,000 for 2 children to have their own consoles and games to play side by side. If they release a Switch 2 Lite, I imagine we could save $100 on each console, maybe. Now, who am I to say these things? I'm just a regular guy. I've been playing Pokemon on my Game Boy since before I could even read. And I've grown up with Nintendo my whole life. My family did have a PlayStation 2 when I was in middle school, and we also got an Xbox 360 when I was in high school. But as an adult, the only console I've ever bought was a Nintendo Switch. And if you asked anybody who knows me, they would tell you I'm an exclusively Nintendo gamer. I'm also married, I have 2 jobs, and my wife also works full-time. If I had 2 kids of my own, I could not provide this experience for them. And forget about playing alongside them with my own console and game. Nintendo is not the family-friendly gaming company I thought they were. These decisions with the Switch 2 pricing, empty game keycards, ability to disable an already paid for console at their whim does not reflect a gaming experience for the whole family. And then with my beloved franchise Pokemon, Scarlet and Violet have been out for over 2 years now, and the performance is still garbage. They just willingly release garbage and do not fix their issues with patches to one of, if not their most successful gaming franchise. Because Nintendo does not have the consumer or gamer or fan's interest in mind. And so, I cancel my Nintendo Switch 2 pre-order. I cannot support these decisions that Nintendo is making with my dollars. Nintendo is setting a bad precedent for the rest of the gaming industry to follow. These decisions are not for the best interest of their consumers. And they shouldn't just pump out garbage just because the fans will buy whatever they tell us to. And if you also disagree with what Nintendo is doing, I think you should do the same. My call to action is this: cancel your pre-orders and do not buy Nintendo Switch 2 at launch. Now is the perfect time to go through your backlog of games that you already own. Now, there are also many streamers that are already too invested and have to buy a Switch 2 for their careers. Please give them grace and continue to support them and watch the games they play. Play these games vicariously through them. I watch Shady Penguin, United Gamer, Nintendo, Wolfie VGC, MNJTV, PM7, Austin John Plays, Party Arlie, Moxie 2D, and Smith Plays Pokemon. And they do an incredible job delivering joy through playing these games. If you don't already watch them, please go check them out. They are amazing. They unfortunately are financially reliant on Nintendo. Most of us are not. Do this for you, and do this for them, and any other streamers you support. Also, let your voices be heard. Either share this video, share that you canceled your Switch 2 pre-order, and demand better from the entire gaming industry. Even though we may not be able to actually hold Nintendo and the other gaming companies to a higher standard, I think it is important that we hold ourselves to a higher standard and give ourselves enough self-respect to not allow them to treat us like garbage. If you are not completely sold on my arguments, I am linking to a video by Bearman3600 who goes more in depth about why we should not buy the Nintendo Switch 2. But ultimately, if I cannot provide this experience to my future kids, what's the point? If we cannot pass our love of these franchises to the next generation, what is it all for? Now, for anyone who has made it this far, hi! Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening to me. I really appreciate it. You probably noticed my name, and if you looked around on my channel, you could probably tell that I'm an aspiring Pokemon YouTuber. I love Pokemon. I love Pokemon. And I have been excited to play Pokemon throughout the generations, and I was looking forward to Generation 10 and beyond. I still plan to continue my Nuzlocke through the first 9 generations, but right now I don't know what I'm going to do about Generation 10. I'm hoping that we can actually make enough noise that Nintendo might listen to us and make some changes going forward. And I may have to make some changes to my channel too. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please share this video if you can. Support your favorite gaming streamers, and I hope to see you again as our journey continues.